not even a draw would have served us. That's the other fucking frustrating thing. A draw would have still served Barca's purposes, and we weren't even able to manage to hold on to that draw. And that's.
I think that's the crazy part. That like it wasn't even a draw; it was a loss, which seems so crazy to me because. So going back to the case of me doing the intro on Tuesday is we didn't let the match day end. Real Madrid didn't score a single goal against Real Betis and somehow closed the gap. Yeah. They closed the gap with a 0-0 draw against Real Betis. They closed the gap. How?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
This is an amazing league campaign. Super fun. When you say Barca played well, I don't know how much weight that holds in terms of, yes, they played well. They had way more chances. Messi is like...
It was more control.
If Messi scores that break, that amazing Busquets pass in the first half, the 35th minute.
Messi was on fire.
Griezmann had a good chance in the box. I mean, there's a bunch of other shots. But so there's a couple things that happen. You know what's funny? You guys pulled the Real Madrid yesterday. That's like a Real Madrid-esque loss. At home,
what?
Yes, like these are the games that we drop all the time, and that's why we don't win the league. It felt like a Real Madrid loss, and that like everything's comfortable. You're not worrying too much. Maybe you just kind of switch off a little bit. You get a little bit too comfortable, and by the time you realize what's happening, it's too late. It felt like a very Real Madrid-esque loss where you guys kind of just lost focus, and maybe it starts with. The Darwin Machis goal and Mingueza not being able to intercept that pass, Sergio Roberto not being able to chase Machis. But even so Koeman makes those subs. He goes away from 3 at the back, right?
Yeah.
He goes with 4 at the back. I just can't understand what was happening between Umtiti and Piqué in that moment. It made no sense to me. This is Umtiti, okay, he's not the same physical guy, but he still has... I assume football intelligence there. And Piqué, that was Piqué's original man. So if Piqué is going to let Jorge Molina go behind him, you would assume he at least looks over the shoulder and communicates to Umtiti like, hey, you take him. But I watched that goal a few times in the replays, like in the initial play, but also the replay. He just pretends that Molina doesn't exist, and no communication, nothing. That was unbelievable to me. I don't know what happened there, and that's inexcusable. So
it comes down again to individual errors, which are very easy to spot, that are very difficult to explain at this level when you're playing in this stage of the season, playing for your objectives, trophies. And it's just inexcusable. And I say that they played well, and I do maintain that. Perhaps, Granada we saw Granada rather comfortable with how Barca was playing. Perhaps I felt the control was on Barca's side. And, that I have to say, that goal between Messi and Griezmann enamored me. It was a thing of beauty. And I thought more and better things were going to spring from that. And, when that sucker punch initially came from Granada, I felt that Barca were still in the driver's seat and with the confidence enough to still continue what we had seen up until then. Or better with the interest from Dembélé. I was waiting for Dembélé to be subbed in, already sooner in that second half. I wish. It seems that Koeman is resting him a bit lately, and I miss him. And I think Granada is also a team that could have been exposed on the flanks by a player like Dembélé that can take on the 1-on-1, take on the defender and move into spaces, pass into spaces, get past players and let off, those wicked shots and force Granada deeper and in more dangerous positions, basically. But we didn't see we didn't see that. And we only saw that basically, obviously, nearing the end when it was kind of those classic subs, those moves from Koeman that we've seen up until now, where it's like, let's go, Trincao, you, Dembélé, Braithwaite, in, go, and like I said, it became desperate football, became Hail Mary type football. He took out Busquets, which Busquets was having the game of his life as well. He looked rejuvenated. You took the Busquets
Some of his passes
so
were incredible in
some of
this
his
game.
passes was insane, and I felt like this situation, the 1-1, would have been approached with a more clear head and a head where, an attitude where you feel like you have confidence in what you've been doing up until then and you're in control, and just all you got to do is continue to do that because the goal will come. And it was not that. It was very panicky and haphazardous and like I said, Hail Mary, desperate type football, which was a disappointment to see. And I felt like it was kind of Murphy's Law at that point, right? You felt that whatever could have gone wrong would go wrong at that point, and then eventually it did.
Well, yeah, the subs and all that were interesting. I mean, Barcelona have a luxury that Real Madrid don't right now, and they can kind of afford to run their starters and their key players into the ground a little bit. And Busquets is one that I thought about because I thought he was having such a good game, and maybe it was overlooked. Maybe there was some. I don't know. I'm really not sure. But I guess I think Busquets is one that you wanted to kind of have in there, especially given that Trincao and Dembele had already been introduced. Dembele had already been introduced as a winger, and you already had Griezmann and Messi, so you had plenty of width. So I don't know if Trincao was another winger would have helped in that situation. Maybe you just needed another incisive passer from deep, the way Busquets was playing. So yeah, I don't know. It could have gone anyway. That guy still exists, eh? Poor guy.
I know, right?
What happened? There was a period where he was playing again, and then we just didn't hear from him again. So
this was a bad loss, man, and you should be very excited and very, feel very good about your chances. I mean, I can't even imagine. This is Madrid now is again, like tables have flipped 180 degrees.
Dude, we have like 10 players available.